Hello, everybody. I'm John Knocklinger. I am the owner of Netsquire, and I'm a men's divorce strategist. Coming on today to talk to everyone about what's going on with the state of divorce law and related issues after the election. I've been getting lots of emails and messages about what's going on, and I want to come on and just make sure that I can alleviate some fears, then also make sure that you all understand what is going on with our divorce laws. Please keep in touch with our pages and our website, gethappydivorce.com, for the latest developments. We'll be blogging as much as possible, and I'll be coming on to this page as often as I can to update everybody. So let's talk about a couple of things that I've been hearing about and I've been reading about, and I know there's lots of anxiety about, and then just so you understand what's going on. One thing that's going around out there is that somehow no-fault divorce is going to be eliminated. So I would characterize this as nothing more than a rumor. Interestingly, our divorce laws are state-specific. So there's very little the federal government can do to eliminate no-fault divorce throughout the United States, because every state has their own divorce laws. Those are something that are state-specific, which is exactly why if an attorney like myself in New Jersey cannot divorce somebody in Texas, because the laws in Texas are different than in New Jersey. Every state is different when it comes to divorce. So if a state were to get rid of its no-fault divorce laws, which I think as of 2010, every state in the country has had no-fault divorce, it'd have to be done at the state level. So what happens federally, who the new president is, isn't going to impact our ability to have divorces that are no fault. And just so you understand what no-fault divorce is versus fault divorces meant you had to have a reason to get divorced. You had to have some level of separation, perhaps, or someone had to be an alcoholic or a drug addict, or someone had to, be abusive or had to cheat on you. There had to be a reason for your divorce, and that reason could be challenged. So no-fault divorce kind of got us out of the business of trying to figure out whether or not those reasons were true or not, and allowed people to end marriages for a reason or no reason at all. You can debate whether or not that was a good or bad thing, but that's the way the law has been in all 50 states since 2010, and a lot of states had it before that. So don't worry about that law being changed. I've been hearing a lot. I've been reading a lot of panic about that perhaps being changed based on the presidential election. The president can't change the law anyway, but even if the president could, divorce law is state by state. So I did a video the other day about another area of concern that I've been hearing from people, and that's same-sex couples who are married and what the presidential election could mean for them. Again, same-sex marriage is something that was legalized nationwide by the Supreme Court. So the only way you can overturn something the Supreme Court does is to have a subsequent version of the court override its prior decision. We just saw that happen with abortion, but that would be one of the ways it could happen. Again, Congress and the president have little ability to really impact this. They could conceivably pass a law that would deny certain federal benefits to same-sex couples that are in marriages. But even that would be something the Supreme Court has already said is against the Constitution, and that would go back up to the Supreme Court. Is it possible that somehow same-sex marriages could be overturned? Yes, that's much more, I would say, much more likely, or not likely, that's not the right word. That's much more a possibility than no-fault divorces being overturned. So either way, I I don't think that that's something that we really need to be worried about. But obviously, when it comes to same-sex marriages, I've said this in the video the other day. I'm going to say it again now. Protect yourself. If you're in one of these marriages, be sure that you have good estate planning documents, that you have powers of attorney, that you really have dotted all your I's, crossed all your T's, and almost pretend like you're not married, so that you have all those documents in place, so that if in the very unlikely event something happens to your marriage, that you have those things to fall back on. And I've said this before, but if you are in a same-sex relationship, I'm really talking to more women out there, and you had a child while you were married, and you think, okay, well, we're married, and one of us gave birth to a child. Perhaps you used an anonymous sperm donor. That child is both of ours. We don't need to worry about it. I caution you. You really should go and get an adoption done for the non-biological spouse to adopt the child, just so you have a judgment of adoption, which is recognized everywhere, including outside the United States, because most countries of the world do not recognize same-sex marriage. So if you take your child outside the country and you're not the biological parent of a child, it's at least conceivable that you could have issues. So don't have any issues. Get the judgment of adoption so that you are fully protected no matter what happens going forward. Now, what else is going on? I've been seeing in the news a lot of things regarding divorces on the rise after the election. And that definitely is something that anecdotally I'm starting to hear about out in the world. Now, again, we don't require fault to get divorced. So, it really doesn't matter why your spouse would want to divorce you, but certainly though divorce apparently is a little bit on the rise post-election, which is an interesting sort of situation. Another thing that everyone needs to keep in mind is alimony. Now, when the last time that President Trump was in office, they passed a tax cut package. And one of the parts of that package was to eliminate the tax deductibility of alimony. It used to be if you paid alimony, you got a deduction from your income off your taxable income. That way you paid less in taxes. And the spouse that was receiving alimony had to include that in their income, and they were taxed on it. But because usually who was in the higher income bracket that was paying alimony had a higher income tax, it usually saved the family money. So the last time they did a tax package, back when President Trump was in office the first time, they eliminated that to get cost savings, because it usually resulted in the family paying less in taxes. Now that tax package is coming up to be renewed, or it's expiring and it needs to be renewed, I believe, next year. So just keep your eye out for that, because who knows what's going to happen. It could be that they just continue dealing with alimony the same way that they've been dealing with it before, or it could be that they change it in some way, shape, or form. So that's just something to keep in mind. So if you're thinking about divorce and you've kind of been wondering, should I do it now? Should I do it later? What I would say is, what the law is today. The law is today, when it comes to alimony, that it is not tax deductible, and it is for the person paying it, and it's not includable in tax for the person who is receiving it. So if you want that level of certainty that that is what you want to get divorced under that law, then you need to do it now, because we don't know whether the law will change in the future on anything, right? We just don't know. But by and large, with your individual circumstances, be sure you speak to an attorney in your state about what's going on and whether or not you need to take any action now to protect your rights. If you're in New Jersey, you can obviously reach out to us. GetHappyDivorce.com, 732-529-6937. You can direct message us on the social media channel. If you're outside of New Jersey and you just want to talk about, what generically these laws and these situations might mean for you, or if you need a referral to an attorney in your jurisdiction, you can also reach out to me again through the social media channel. I'd be happy to help you. But please stay informed. This is not a time right now to put your head in the sand and ignore what's going on. If you're having a marital situation, or you're even already divorced and you've got I know the economy's in flux. We never know what's going to happen with the economy. We don't know whether or not there's going to be unemployment issues or what's going to happen. No matter what's happening, just be sure you stay informed, you ask questions, have consultations with professionals that can help you. And, I'm always here to help guide everybody and provide as much information as I have. And please have a great day, and please reach out to me if you need anything.